Europeans aren't coming over. Canadians. You know where the Canadians are going? Have you seen the reports on this? They're going to Mexico, which means the U.S. is literally flyover country.
Oh, man, we so deserve that. We
Literally,
so deserve
the
that.
entire U.S.
Oh, my gosh.
Flyover country.
That's wild.
Let's just get to topic.
Please save me with some good topics.
Come on, just slam an iron brew and let's do this, boys.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad&Cheese podcast.
Pack it up, pack it in. We came to win. Hey, boys and girls, it's the Chad&Cheese podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Shador Cheeseman.
And I'm your co-host, Maureen, a.k.a. Mo. What if I need $30, Clough?
You probably don't, but we'll talk about that later. And this is Chad, historic promotion Sowash.
And on this episode, Deel strikes back. UPS says don't come back. And Uber tells workers that they'd better come back. Let's do this.
Hospitality is the heart of our society. It brings people together to share great food, drinks, and experiences. But successfully managing a restaurant or hotel is no easy feat. That's where Harry comes in. Harry is the frontline employee experience platform that helps you build, manage, and engage great teams. With Harry, managers can easily find and hire top talent, manage timekeeping, and communicate with employees at any time from any place. Candidates and team members can quickly and efficiently apply for jobs, swap shifts, and access important information entirely from their mobile devices. And Harry's robust employee engagement tools make team members feel more connected than ever. With Harry, as an owner or operator, you get a bird's eye view of your business, from turnover cost, labor cost, employee sentiment, compliance risk, and team performance. Run your business better by understanding the power of your people. Because when your team is the heart of your business, Harry is the heartbeat. See how it transforms your business.
$30. What the hell is $30?
Oh, that's the Trump thing.
I need $30.
I need get $2 instead of 30. Who the hell's getting $30?
Probably his
family,
kids. Probably his kids. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I kind of feel like I don't need someone who's giving guided tours showing off gold angels and his ostentatious wealth to tell me that I should have only $2. Sorry. Just not landing.
Toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, come on, man. Come on.
So let's talk about the economy and jobs real quick. Okay, listener. Just listen. Just want to hit this high points real quick to be able to jump through this. U.S. job openings fell to 7.2 million in March. Private payroll growth slowed way below expectations. GDP hits the negative. Yes, in Q4, GDP was 2.4%. We're now looking at about negative 0.03. Then the conference board said consumer confidence dropped almost 8 points this month, the lowest reading since May of 2020. What the
That escalated quickly.
Wow.
It did in 100 days. It's
like a grenade.
Days.
It's crazy.
Oh, starting the show off on a high note. So love it. And I thought we'd talk about
Downer.
the draft.
Oh, God. No.
No, sorry.
Well,
please don't do that to
me. But I do
me.
have a Seattle question, Mo. I'm seeing a lot of TikToks and whatnot about the port of Seattle being empty because nothing's coming in, and you being on the ground,
on the ground, reporting live.
I know you don't have like that Pacific front,
not port side, my friend.
Property.
Yeah, oceanfront property by the port.
Is this a topic in Seattle? The port is empty and people freaking out, or not so much?
I don't leave my house, so your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I don't live port side, but yeah, I'm sure it's taken.
I read books from the 1800s, and I never leave my house, and I have my own victory garden in the back. I am ready for the end of days. Days.
That being said, we did talk to somebody who did understand what was happening. Right?
Fill me in.
the biggest topic of discussion for me personally, beyond higher prices in the last 100 days, is the impact on small businesses. And I want to go ahead and set up a clip from an interview we did earlier this week with Beth Beneke, the CEO and founder of a small business called Busy Baby. You might have seen her on Shark Tank, but Beth is frantically trying to figure out how to stay alive after these tariffs. Let's go ahead and play this clip real quick.
She is not alone.
What concerns me and what should concern Americans is the ripple effect of this. When we get a container shipped here from China, it comes into the St. Paul rail yard, and there's a woman-owned small business called Semi-Legal Trucking that picks up that container and brings it down to my warehouse for us to unload and put in. I checked on her the other day and said, how's it going for you? She said, well, we still have a few trickling in, but the outlook is not good. I might actually lose everything I've used to build this. Now, she's an American-owned company with American employees doing transportation and logistics around our country. If you look at the math, there's been over 100 ships canceled so far since this has happened. Each ship that comes over from China contains 8,000 to 10,000 containers. Those ships come to a port where we have hundreds or thousands of employees who work to unload them and put them on rails and put them on trucks. Those employees now don't have any containers to move.
That was from earlier this week. Again, our interview with Beth. The entire interview was amazing. She has done so much work to even see if she could bring her manufacturing back to the U.S. She's done the dollars and cents. She's done all of that. The SBA says there's about 33 million small businesses in the U.S., which account for 46.4% of the private sector jobs. Now Beth is only one story. Totally get that. She doesn't reflect all of the 33 million, but just think of hundreds of thousands of small businesses who employ people in your community, people who pay taxes, people who spend in the local economy. The ripple effects are real. And that's what I think we need to really focus on.
I love the insider info she gave us about Walmart and Target and I think Home Depot going to talk to the president, which happened. And he sort of changed his tune on some of this, but not enough to make a big difference. Yeah, the ripple effects on this, I don't think we have any idea yet how this is going to hit.
The dominoes are falling.
You were talking about prices, and she said, I'm not as worried about prices. We're looking at empty shelves at this point. And that's what's the most scary, right? I mean, it is one thing that we have, and we'll talk more about, you know, jobs in the US and whatnot and how they're going down, and wage, obviously the power, the dollar buying power is much lower as well. So yeah, this is all, I mean, literally
empty shelves.
Heartbreaking.
Impact everyone. It's not hey, I've got money to weather this and I can still buy my stuff. Stuff on shelves means we're all screwed, no matter if you have money or not. So that was very
everybody.
Very telling.
It's just heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking.
Over 80% of you watching right now, you watch over and over. We know you do, but you haven't liked and you haven't subscribed. Let's do that. Let's do that now.
Which is the theme of this show, so let's get into that.
Time for shout outs.
I'm going to bring it up, kids, with Wrexham's third straight and historic promotion. So shout out to Wrexham. This has never been done before. Never been done before. From the National League, promoted from the National League to League Two, League Two to League One, and now they're promoted to the Championship League 3 consecutive years. In 2021, their first full season of owners, that being McElhenney and Reynolds, their revenues increased by 404% to just under 6 million. That was year one. And then 2022 to 23, they rose 75% from 6 to 10.5 million. 2023 to 2024, Wrexham announced a record profit, aka turnover, to 26.7 million pounds, making a 155% increase from the previous year. They're just growing. And if you want to know why, it's really simple. Watch Welcome to Wrexham. If you watch it, you can see this is a masterclass in business. While you see NFL icons like J.J. Watt buy into Premier League teams that get relegated down to the Championship League the very next year, McElhenney and Reynolds bought cheap at the bottom.
Buy low.
The National League they created a story and they blew the doors off the league. So shout out to a masterclass in business and 3 straight historic promotions to Wrexham. And it only took a Canadian and an American to make that happen, kids.
So how many more
different teams
till they get to be in the Premier League? For those not as versed on this sport as you are.
Yeah, I got a Ted Lasso level of education on this, so like that's the only reason I understood a single word of what you just said.
Which is why you've got to watch Welcome to Wrexham, because they from the season 1 they actually show you the pyramid of the league, right? The Premier League being on top, and in their case they were at the bottom at the National League, and so that just watching the promotions, which is awesome. But at the end of it, I don't know. I didn't think they'd go to the championship league already. I mean, they shot up through the ranks. I think their buying power and mainly their star power and their TikTok ability, their Wrexham, welcome to Wrexham ability gets these guys to become superstars on the big and small screen. So there's this huge lure to get people from leagues that are well above the league they're playing in. So can they get some awesome, like top shelf talent from the Premier League to come down to the Championship League? I think that's going to be the question. They've been able to do that before, but they've never had to spend this kind of fucking money.
Well, they better get some American or Middle East money if they want those kinds of stars to come. Otherwise, Messi and Ronaldo are going elsewhere.
Get Ronaldo. He doesn't need the money anymore. Go ahead and get Ronaldo.
Have you tried? There's a Wrexham lager now. I'm seeing ads for it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to try it. But it's apparently an old witch's brew recipe, and that they brought back.
What does that even really mean? Like, what's an old witch's brew?
It's got
it's
like,
just old.
Oh, it's 1742. The brewery was founded. Yeah.
Okay, it's got some history, some weight.
You appreciate old is better, right?
Yeah,
Mo?
old is gold, man. Old is gold.
You like
Love
the
it.
old folks. All right, what you got, Mo?
Speaking of old folks, so my shout out. Well, thanks to the American dream of living here. Basically, as I was talking about with my barista this morning, like no one is basically going to be able to stop working until they drop dead, which is really cute. But so this shout out is actually to a woman. This woman, she went to a restaurant with her son, and she saw this waitress, and the server, and she was probably around 81. Well, I know she's 81 because of the news article, but she's 81 years old, and she's barely kind of the server was.
Holy
and she's having a hard
shit.
time with mobility. Yeah. And 81 looks different, right? But 81 looks different on other people. Like I know an 81-year-old who is crazy active, but whatever. She was not doing super well. And this woman and her young son were in the restaurant. They noticed her. And this woman was like, God, this is so screwed up. This woman told me she's working because she can't afford to retire. And she's trying to keep up with, in her words, quote, the young whippersnappers. And I just want to do something for this woman who's like working her tail off. And so she did a TikTok about this 81-year-old server. It went viral, and they raised $300,000 for this woman so she could get the F out of the restaurant. And I'm like, so it's simultaneously like heartwarming and wonderful because look at the power of people coming together and giving a damn about their fellow man. And then it's also like, oh my God, how did we get here? Like we have to do something different because this is wrong. Like
the system's been broken. I mean, you take a look at wages, you take a look at the tip culture, you take a look at, I mean, it's just, it's broken from the top down, bottom up, whatever you want to say. But unfortunately, that just fucking sucks.
By the way, everyone, if you have whippersnappers on your bingo card, be sure to stamp that. I think that's the first.
Such a good one.
How many points is that in Scrabble? That's a question.
That would be a lot of points. That's like you're winning.
Whippersnapper.
That is a winning formula.
Sure is.
All right.
Okay, guys, we love Canada on this show, which is a great opportunity for me to also say that our shout-outs are sponsored by the good folks at Kiora.
Love them.
Text recruiting made easy and affordable. So my shout-out goes out to Mark Carney.
Oh.
If you watch Fox News, you might not even know what the hell's going on. Anyway, Canada has a parliamentary system. Yeah. They have conservatives and liberals. Before Trump came in, Justin Trudeau, incredibly unpopular. He had been in for 10 years. Yep. It was kind of time for a change. And they had a cool guy named Pierre out in, I think, the west part of the country. He was up by 25 points before Trump got into office. Trump gets into office, talks about the 51st state, talks about taking over, talks about Governor Trudeau, etc. Yeah. Trudeau steps down. Mark Carney comes in. And thanks to Trump, the liberals got back into power. Mark Carney.
Is that a snort?
Mark Carney went. That is a snort from Mo, not one of the old guys on the show. So in his speech, Mark Carney said that Trump's trying to, quote, break us so America can own us, end quote. And this was a rallying cry for all Canucks who don't really relish the thought of being a 51st state or any part of America. So shout out to him. By the way, Mark Carney is a Harvard grad, which I've talked about quite a bit on the show, is fighting the power of Trump. And by the way, Mark Carney spent very little of his life actually in Canada. Most of it's in Ireland and England. So anyway, Trump is so bad that he can put a Brit in power in Canada. I probably messed it up for my poor Canadian friends. But Canadians love independence from Trump, and they love free stuff, Chad.
And they love Chad&Cheese. They love Chad&Cheese.
Yeah,
why? Because if you go to chadcheese.com/free, you could prospectively win, get ready, kids, bourbon barrel aged syrup from Kiora, from, the Great White North, from Kiora.
We're doing our movie. Don't wreck our show, you hoser.
Whiskey. A cock in both hands. Chicken cock, possibly. Whiskey. 2 bottles.
Oh, boy.
From Van Hack, our friends up north at Van Hack. Then we've got craft beer from our friends, the Job Data Geeks over Aspen Tech Labs. I'll have more about those guys later. T-shirts from Aaron App. That's Aaron App. And if it's your birthday, another Canuck company. You can win rum from Plum. Just go to chadcheese.com/free.
I know I can. I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Ooh, I love Canada.
That's right.
I think that's my favorite little sound.
Little sound bite. You like the plums, huh? Yeah. And Plum loves it too. They didn't even come up with that. We did. So
Joel plays that before he goes to bed every night.
What do you know about what I do before bed every night?
Christine told me.
I'm a little scared about that comment. Anyway, celebrating another trip around the sun, our listeners, Annie Jarvis, Glenn Hill, Garvit Sharma, Jerry Frank, Peter Sharipa, Shauna Berthold, Keegan Osepik, Stefan Jean, Sarah Addison, Bennett Sung, Robert Rayner, Alfonso Zamora, Herb Drew, Come on, Eileen Kowalski, Joshua Skloot, Lou Adler, Joe Shaker. Wow. We'll get to travel here in a second. And our very own JT O'Donnell celebrate a birthday. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday.
Well, what a great segue. Joe Shaker, birthday, and Shaker Recruitment Marketing. What do? They're our travel sponsors, kids. That's right. We're going to Unleash next week. Coming up May 6th through the 8th, where we're going to be in Vegas on Wednesday the 7th. We're going to be spending a little time in the suite at the Cosmo filming a new sessions season with our friends over at Smart Recruiters. Then that night, we're going to do a film wrap VIP party. All you have to do is go out to LinkedIn, look at Joel's LinkedIn profile, mine, and we'll have the details there. But dude, there ain't no party like a Cosmo Sessions
Where are we going, boys?
Rap party. And then we're going to be hosting 2 talks in the GEM booth. That's JEM GEM booth on Wednesday the 7th at 3:30 p.m. and then Thursday morning at 10:30 Vegas time. If you're coming to Unleash, we're going to be there. Find us, whether we're drinking. Well, we're going to be drinking. We'll see you. We'll see you there.
Mo, are you too young to remember the Jim animated cartoon from the 80s featuring a socialite named Jim? Yeah, you are. Okay.
I am. But apologies.
The thing is, though, we also have video because we saw that apparently some of the concierge services and the valet services are not going to be readily available in Vegas. Can you play that?
It's a shame.
Beautiful bean footage.
I'm not fucking leaving.
God, what's going on in Vegas? Holy shit.
That hasn't made the news yet. MGM Resorts just told all of their concierge employees across all of their properties, with the exception of Aria and Bellagio, that they are being laid off. This is a couple weeks after laying off the valet, doorman, and bellman at Excalibur and announcing the closure of the Luxor Buffet. We know that travel and tourism is down. Aside from global issues and the Canadians boycotting us, many Americans fear that we are headed for a recession and they are tightening up their spending. But what's going on at MGM feels a little bit bigger than that. Multiple executives in recent months have resigned or are rumored to be considering resignation, with small downsizings and rumors of more occurring at multiple properties. This is after raising resort fees and parking fees twice in 2024. Ouch. Fees keep going up and amenities are being scaled back.
Ouch.
Good times.
We'll be there. We'll see it for ourselves.
Yeah, let me know.
So, I mean, and again, so a lot of times media can like overplay some of this stuff. They said occupancy rates are like around 82%. So it still kind of feels kind of full. But I mean, in Vegas, when you're used to being popping at the seams right now, Europeans aren't coming over.
Canadians aren't coming.
Definitely not.
You know where the Canadians are going? Have you seen the reports on this? They're going to Mexico, which means the U.S. is literally flyover country.
Oh man, we so deserve that. We
literally
so deserve
the
that.
entire U.S.
Oh my gosh,
flyover country.
Wow, that's wild.
That's wild. Let's just get to topics.
I mean,
please save me with some good topics.
Oh, we got some more. More goodness, Chad. That's right. Your weekly dose of Deel and Rippling.
Oh, not another one.
The feud keeps escalating.
On
Deel officially agreed to be served legal papers in Rippling's lawsuit. Deel, backed by Andreessen Horowitz, maybe you've heard of them, who has a $3 billion stake in the company, countersued, alleging defamation by Rippling's CEO. But wait, there's more. Crypto startup Toku claims Deel was part of a scheme that exploited its private information and tried to place spies among its ranks of employees. I don't know if this is going to get any crazier, but I hope that it does, because it's a lot of fun to talk about. The corporate spy drama continues. Chad, your thoughts?
So the defamation case that Deel is actually throwing at Rippling, I think is interesting. They have like little pieces, parts of emails that they say are defamation. Parker Conrad was asked for a comment and said, quote, Deel did not directly refute Rippling's central claim, right? And he's focusing on the central claim that it paid employees to steal Rippling trade secrets, end quote. The Russian sanctions is also another piece on this. I mean, there's just so much smoke that's happening. It's at first, as listeners, you know, when Rippling first came up with this, we're like, come on, guys, this is bullshit. And then we started getting evidence. Then we got Keith O'Brien giving us
he's a man.
Testimony, affidavits, right? We had affidavits where we could read down through what the hell's going on. And unfortunately, we live in a time where accusation without evidence is happening all over the fucking place, right?
True.
And it's literally just trying to change public opinion. That's where we're living today. So show me the evidence. Deel. You say there's defamation. You say there's Russian sanctions. Also, what was the other company's name? The cryptocurrency company? Yeah, because I trust them. Evidence. Release the fucking evidence. If you want to put this out in public, then do it. Do it like I mean, Rippling didn't really do it because it was an official affidavit. But get that shit done so we can all take a look at it, and you can do it in court.
Go deep.
Just the tip.
Hello?
God, I'm sorry. You're killing me. Yeah, I mean, I found the whole thing this thing is just like unbelievable. I truly cannot wait to watch this on screen. It's going to happen for sure. But I mean, to me, it's like you said, Chad, the evidence sounds pretty credible. Like you said, this guy was testifying in court under affidavit. Like, this is not like a nothing thing that he just spun up. So yeah. I would love to see something that's irrefutable that suggests that this was all just like one big, ploy against them. I doubt we're going to see that. It sounds pretty legit to me, but it did make me crack up. And I also saw a past video on YouTube that was about like the genius of the bozo at the head of Deel. Delm, what's Delm? Who am I? At the head of Deel. And I'm like, this guy doesn't seem so smart to me. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's just, it's hilarious. And people can just throw accusations out there like left, right, and center. And like, at least give us something to back it up. I totally agree with you. It's so stupid. So
all right, kids, gather around the bonfire.
Time for a history lesson.
oh.
That's right. We never get out of high school, everybody. Let's take a trip down memory lane,
So
shall we?
true.
2013, Zenefits, co-founded by our friend Parker Conrad, got millions in investment from, guess who? Andreessen Horowitz. That's right. So when BuzzFeed exposed Zenefits for all its bullshit and its sex in the stairwell stories, Conrad was pushed. Conrad was pushed out.
Yeah.
David Sachs, if you listen to the All In podcast, David Sachs was the COO of Zenefits at the time.
Big surprise.
He was moved to CEO. Guess what David Sachs' current title is? He's Trump's crypto czar.
Oh dear God.
You mentioned Taiku, the crypto company. I don't know if there's a connection, but it sounds kind of fishy to me. Anyway, Zenefits goes to hell. Conrad launches Rippling.
Yep.
Which, let's be honest, is a poke in the eye of Andreessen Horowitz, I'm sure, because they backed him over at Zenefits. So they go to Deel, and they go, Deel, fuck Rippling. We're on your team. They dropped $3 billion on Deel. And now this shit happens. Not $3 billion. Maybe it's $3 billion.
300 million? No, yeah, they don't have $3 billion.
It's a lot of money.
Worth
Google
it.
it.
Yeah.
So
Google it.
So now
making work for our listeners. That's awesome.
I don't get all the facts in my history lessons,
you guys
everybody.
do some shit.
I like to empower you to find your own stuff. But anyway, so now Deel's in trouble and at risk of looking like a real shit. And so Andreessen Horowitz are like, oh my God, we got to save our investment. We can't get beat by Rippling. So now this has become our lawyers at Andreessen Horowitz and Deel versus the lawyers at Rippling, who I'm sure they all know each other and have lunch at
Guarantee it.
That laundromat, French laundromat or whatever it is in Silicon Valley.
French laundromat.
Mo gets that reference. She gets the French laundromat.
Oh, well, how could we forget? Remember Gavin Newsom and like his people? Oh yeah, I go there all the time.
So now this is becoming
McDonald's.
Godzilla versus King Kong. And lucky us with a podcast, we get to talk about this never-ending high school drama about everyone being pissed at each other and getting even through legal means and just countersuing, and eventually probably going to the French laundromat to like decide who's getting what and how much. The shit show continues in 2025, and I'm here for it, Chad. I'm here for it.
I think everybody's here for it. Like I said, this has never happened in our space. It's something
insane.
This size. We've got bumbling Mr. Bean spies. We got Bozo going to Dubai trying to get Mr. Bean to come with him. I mean, it's just like this is amazing. But again, evidence, kids, give us the evidence.
Yeah, I guess we have to see that.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
Can't do it.
God. Yeah, we have a due process here. Hello.
Be careful.
Be careful with all of that. All right, that is our history lesson for the day, kids. Let's go to our next story. Power to the people. Yeah, not so much. This week, Uber raised its in-office requirement to 3 days, clawing back remote workers. Not to be outdone, Google is requiring remote workers to return to the office 3 days a week as well. They have until June to return, and if they don't comply, well, they'll be fired. Microsoft is laying off nearly 300 people on the heels of eliminating, quote, low performers, end quote. And did you see Intel just laid off 22,000 workers, roughly 20% of its headcount? Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Mo, what are your thoughts on all the RTO layoff news?
I mean, thank you for calling it RTO layoff, because that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's a forced function. They know that not enough people are going to come back to the office. They're doing it on purpose so they can save on costs. We all know what this is. It's going to impact certain people more than others. We all know that. They know that. They're counting on it. They don't give a shit.
No.
It infuriating to see this happen again and again and again. And when I talk to people who are currently employed within any of those companies or any big tech companies, it's like the Lord of the Flies internally. Like everyone is throwing one another under the bus. They're trying to save their job by any means necessary. They're not fucking thinking about the customer. They're not thinking about what's right for the company. They're trying to save their own butts, right? Yeah. And who could blame them? And so these companies are dealing themselves this situation where they don't have people in place at the company who are thinking about what the company wants them to think about. They're trying to save themselves. So it just creates this like super toxic, horrendous environment that it makes me so angry because it doesn't have to be like this. Like, I don't understand why they can't find a different path, a better path, and why we can't have more humanity in the workplace, because we are freaking humans at the end of the day. We are not robots. And I know they'd rather replace us with them, and some of them are. But one thing that did not get picked up in any of that also is how tough tech is right now for a specific generation, and that's Gen Z. So Gen Z is usually, I mean, tech is all about the youth, right? They love them. Yeah. They think they're the best hires. I'll die on this hill. I hate that tech seems to want to not hire or not keep any of the older workers so that they can then hire only younger workers and exploit them. Hate that. But now they're deciding that they would actually prefer to hire robots instead of young people. So entry-level jobs are going out by the wayside. There's not an ability for Gen Z to get some of those early career experiences. There's no mentorship because, again, everyone's covering their own ass. They're not thinking about bringing someone along and teaching them the tools of the trade. You've got AI outsourcing. You've got a lack of skills and training in these organizations. It's really like, good luck. If you get this job, sink or swim. Oh, by the way, you got to be using AI and you got to tell us how you used it and if it worked or not, because we don't have a training program and we're just like fly by seat of our pants type of operation. But this is so shitty for everyone of all ages. And I just feel absolutely horrible for anyone who's just mixed up in this. And I know that the pendulum will swing back at some point and it will be more of an employee's market. And no one forget that this happened. Like, these companies are showing you exactly who they are right now with how they're treating their workforce. Do not forget it. And if you're a customer who can make a choice, don't forget this either. See what they're doing to their people and go elsewhere. So
with your
that
dollars.
What the fuck? So infuriating.
So this is the short-term mindset that we've put ourselves into. We used to focus on community, growing the community, not just being a part and giving back to the community, but that's where our talent's at, right? And being able to build talent pipelines through developing, at the high school age, middle school, high school, community college, what have you. That is all out the door. It is all about this quarter, dollars and cents, right? So short-term mindset, and that pain that we're hearing about all over the place, people are going to remember that. People are going to remember that shit. So if you're at Microsoft, take the 16-week severance. Get the fuck out of there.
No one ever comes back from a PIP. Are you kidding me?
They are showing who they are. They're showing who they are. Google, Uber, they're boiling the RTO frog, and also there's the layoff pieces that are in there. But I know we talk a lot about the big names like Google, JP Morgan Chase, Uber, and many others who are pushing RTO. But Aspen Tech Labs, that's right, our friends over at Aspen Tech Labs, they dropped the following information last week on the Job Board Doctor. Quote, remote jobs continue their strong trajectory, increasing 27.5% compared to Q1 2024. Insurance, information tech, IT, accounting sectors are leading this trend, underscoring the persistent shift towards flexible and remote working arrangement, end quote. So the big names are forcing RTO. Many of the others are vying for the same talent, echoing Spotify's "You're an adult, work from wherever you like." So yes, the headlines make it feel like everybody is moving back to the office, but the numbers say it ain't so, Joe.
Emotional damage.
Well, we interrupted you. You had something to say. Go for it.
What you gonna say?
I may have lost my train of thought because that just
I'll
really
talk,
was
and
quite
if
jarring.
you remember, just chime in. Okay.
I'm dying.
A few weeks ago, it was last week, LinkedIn invested in Office Space, which I said at the time, well, if anyone has remote work job listing information and trends on remote jobs being posted, it's LinkedIn. So to make that investment, they must know something about the future of remote work. that we don't. This feels like a world that is dividing between tech and those that aren't in tech. And if you're in tech, going back to the office, having people leave that don't want to go back to the office, and less headcount is a good thing. And if you can do it by avoiding the layoff headline, that's a great thing, because saying we're going back to the office and losing 5% of your workforce is a lot better than saying we're firing 5% of our workforce.
Oh, yeah.
That's precisely right.
Microsoft, as of this writing, Meta and Microsoft both reported quarterly earnings. Meta jumped 6% on an earnings beat, citing some advertising resilience. Microsoft, also blowout quarter, jumped 9%. So these tech companies have incentive to go back to the office, if nothing else, because they can eliminate headcount and increase earnings. Microsoft said in their report that 30% of all code written now is AI generated. That's a lot of developers that aren't going to have a job at Microsoft.
And it's early.
And it's early.
It's only going to go up.
And to Mo's point, how many of those entry-level jobs that Microsoft used to bring in people are not going to be brought in anymore, and mentor those folks? The other side of it is that it's a softening labor market. There are fewer opportunities for better paying jobs. People used to be able to jump ship and get a 20-25% raise in a new position. Those days are gone. So you have power back to the employers, which means get your ass back to work. We're laying people off, but not saying we're laying people off. And this is a continuing trend that we're going to see. I mean, I'm inspired by Chad and Spotify, and there are those organizations, but I fear like this is going to trickle down to smaller businesses that say, well, if Microsoft and everyone else big that I know does this, then I should be doing it too. They just don't have the shareholders, the boards that are sort of pushing them into that direction.
It can also be.
I think that's how they get the good talent.
Yeah,
is because
they can compete.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah. Oh, no. What I was going to say is I think that they're actually going to double down on offering things that people actually want, because they need to compete. They probably don't have as much money to throw at these people as these bigger players. So they're going to be like, hey, you know what? You can work from home a couple days a week or all the time, whatever. And they get expansive access to more talent. Like Zillow is doubling down on their remote first policy for that reason. They've had like 4x the applications and talent available to them because they are a fully remote organization and they optimize for that. And so it's just, I think it's kind of an own goal for a lot of these companies, because they're going to see people leave. And by the way, like you said, people are not able to earn what they used to be able to earn at these corporate jobs, even at these big players. I have people reaching out to me saying, first of all, I can't get a freaking job interview. And, 5 years ago, I did all the time. But when they actually look at the job that they're interested in, the range of pay is like sub what they made in 2021. So like you said, this market is changing, the demand's changing, it's softening. And so there are going to be some implications. So people are going to be able to win. Other companies are going to be able to win on benefits and making accommodations for people that bigger companies apparently refuse to do.
I mean, we also know that the number of remote jobs being posted is decreasing quite a bit. So unless they're reframing them as different kinds of opportunities, we do know that there's
You're talking about at those companies or overall?
Jobs being posted as remote jobs is decreasing.
So remote jobs continue their strong growth trajectory, increasing by 27.5 compared to Q1 of 2024. That's Aspen Tech data, and they're the data kids. So what you're reading, I don't know. You take a look at the actual data source. Could be companies, specific segment or cohort of companies. But the actual data in Aspen Tech goes out and they look at corporate career sites, top down, scrape those sites, and that's where they get their job data. So that's 27.5% growth.
Your study was sponsored by commercial real estate, probably. Let's be honest. We can all cherry pick the data, right?
Mine was Indeed Day. This is from October of 24. The share of job postings advertising remote or hybrid work options fell from a high of 10.4 in February of 2022 to 7.8% as of October 2024.
And that's a bad index, because you have to pay to get on there, and also they don't go after all the jobs like Aspen Tech does. So you're looking at subsets of data versus, again, it's like Link Up, which we'll talk about here soon. The same kind of thing, right? They're looking at the broader expanse of job data, where Indeed is more focused on really what they're getting paid for.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll
Makes
be right
sense.
back.
So you posted a new job ad. Now you can sit back and wait for the applications to roll in, right? That's why we built JobPixel. Imagine showing candidates why your company is great with real people, real stories, and real culture. With JobPixel, it's not just another job ad. It's an invitation to something much bigger.
Video gives you a 3 times better response rate. So instead of chasing after candidates, they'll be coming to you.
And with a 34% boost in conversions, candidates aren't just looking, they're applying.
And if you're worried about people clicking away, don't be. Our videos reduce bounce rates by 25%. That means they're watching, they're engaged, and they're interested.
282% more engagement. Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger inbox.
Finding the right candidate is tough, but with JobPixel, it doesn't have to be. Show your company's authentic story, and the candidates will follow.
Let's make recruiting fun again, because honestly, it could use some help.
Do you want to see how JobPixel can save you time and money while achieving your KPIs? Schedule a demo today.
All right, gang, file this one under Canary in the Coal Mine. United Parcel Service, also known as UPS, announced it will lay off 20,000 workers, about 4% of its 490,000 strong global workforce, and close 73 facilities by June of 2025, aiming to save $3.5 billion. The cuts, part of a network reconfiguration plan, stem from a strategic reduction in Amazon shipments, which are down 50% projected through 2026, and economic uncertainty from Trump's tariffs. It's worth noting the Teamsters Union, representing 330,000 of the UPS workers, warned of a fierce fight if the company violates its contract to create 30,000 jobs in light of the news. Chad, your thoughts?
Yeah, UPS, I think the whole UPS Amazon relationship started out really well for UPS and then it gone into the shitter. So I don't think they want those, they don't want those packages or that contract anymore because it's starting to become a loss for them. And I believe this does have to do with tariff anchor around the economy's neck. I mean, what should we expect at this point? But UPS is also shutting down facilities while opening brand spanking new robot clad ones. And this is an evolution that we've talked about over the years. For example, working in an Amazon or UPS warehouse is backbreaking work. Amazon actually blew through entire population of workers because the work was hard and the expectations were unreal. UPS leans heavily into the working with unions, which is good because unions won't allow that type of Amazon treatment. And UPS doesn't want to burn through total workforce like Amazon has in some cases. Now, that means less backbreaking jobs, but then creates new segments of jobs for people skilling up to maintain the logistics/robotic machine. So yes, I see where the economy with less ships coming in from China will need less dock workers, less conductors on trains carrying product, less over-the-road truck drivers, and less last-mile UPS warehouse and delivery workers. But this might be the perfect time to transition and hopefully start training some of those laid-off workers as robotic mechanics, and also more of the over-the-road drivers for when this tariff lunacy is hopefully over. So positive. I see the optimistic side on this, looking for optimism.
Thank you.
And seeing that, UPS, again, working with unions, it's an entirely different kind of like scope than what you'll see with an Amazon.
Oops, winning.
Dude, thanks for that little injection of hope. We need some silver linings, man.
Here for you.
Thank you. I was going to be like, hey, next time I do the show, can we get some happiness up in the mix, please? So you don't have to call me Debbie Downer. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I like that. So hopefully there will be some upside to this really shitty news. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, now that I can't get $30 because I'm not going to have any money and they're not shipping them in, like, of course that's going to have a cascading effect. Like your guest said, right? The ripple effect and the domino effect of all of these decisions. And it just extends so far out into Main Street and into our communities. And so we'll see that.
Just get your kids a sharp stick, as Joel Cheeseman would say.
Sharp stick. And so a little comic relief, maybe, Mo. I found this video on TikTok, which is dripping with sarcasm, but there's some truth behind it.
I'm personally very excited for the Trump tariffs. I heard this morning that 20,000 people are being laid off from UPS because they're expecting there to be less Amazon packages, and that's just good for everyone, isn't it? We should actually be shopping less. We shouldn't really be able to afford things in this country. I'm personally really looking forward to the fact that there's going to be empty shelves at this here Target in just a few weeks because none of the ships from China and all those other countries are coming into port anymore. And I just love the idea of regular Americans suffering on an everyday basis so that rich people at the top can get what they want. But I also trust my God, King Trump, the most, and I know that he's doing what's best for everyone right now. I do recommend that you not rely on stores. I know you think you live in a first world nation, but joke's on you. Ain't like that no more. So make sure to have a victory garden for the economic war we're about to be experiencing, and be grateful that things are going to feel hard for a while because it's got to, right? A good leader wouldn't just throw you to the wolves, would they?
No, of course not.
That's so good.
Anyways, I thought you'd enjoy that.
Thank you.
She should be a spokesperson for the Trump administration.
She's good. So I looked back in history because I was curious. The last time UPS laid off 4% of its workforce, any guesses?
COVID?
Any guesses? 2008 was the last time they made
that's a telling
the
time.
Great Recession. So this is serious business. We know some of the people at UPS and do believe, I'm sure that they will, just like in 2008, repurpose, refocus, do what's right by the workers. I think that's a huge part of what UPS does.
Yeah.
So while I do agree, like, this is a canary in the coal mine, if stuff like these, again, these guys see the data, they see what's coming in, what's coming down the pike. When you see Jamie Dimon saying that a recession is likely, it would behoove you not to take some of that data and advice and not, prepare for it. And I think that's what UPS is doing. Hopefully, to Chad's point, the jobs that do come back will be higher level jobs. Automation specific new job titles. Totally. So
that's what they're telling us about AI.
It's going to be painful,
jobs.
Guys. It's going to be $2 instead of $30 for a while. But just like our friend there at Target, get used to it. But will we come out better? I sure as hell hope so. Also, that was funny. You probably saw Amazon was coming out with the tariff additional cost from tariffs. And then the Trump administration said this is a hostile move, which is
transparency. Is
hostile. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Again, this guy just doing stuff that's unconventional. I don't remember a president like basically dictating what businesses could do at this level. Like when there was dictator.
Yeah,
So when there was. There was some commentary about like, well, if lower price goods go up, let's call it 50%, then they'll be more equal to stuff that's made in America. And someone said, well, why wouldn't America come and just raise the price because all the cheap shit is now more expensive? And Trump said something like, well, if they do that, they better not do that. We're watching them, et cetera. It's like, free market, this stuff, like, it's just kind of sad that the White House feels like they need to attack someone like Amazon, a business, from putting like, hey, here's the cost, but with tariffs, here's the cost that you're paying.
Yeah.
And Bezos bent over and is taking it and not. It's
crazy.
It's just a sad. It's just unfortunate.
Fellatio 2025, baby. That's this administration.
That's right. That's the T-shirt you wanted that we were like
Fellatio 2025. Yeah,
we're like maybe not, Chad.
That sounds like a great one to have on stage at the next SHRM meeting. Guys, if you like what you're listening to, if you love the show, hate it, whatever, leave us a review, subscribe, go check us out on YouTube. We are everywhere if you haven't noticed, and if you're not plugged in, please do so. We'll be right back.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
Winter is coming. Actually, it's just ending here in the Midwest, but it is coming. In a post entitled, quote, "Winter is coming, but not quite yet," end quote, our friend Toby Dayton, you know him as the Sasquatch of statistics, warns of an economic slowdown signaled by a weak jobs report. He predicts potential stagflation in 2025 with inflation at 3.2% and unemployment possibly hitting as high as 5%. The silver lining? Toby's firm is forecasting a net gain of 211,000 jobs in April, above the 130,000 estimated. And from our friends at Aspen Tech Labs, U.S. job postings stalled in February, showing 0 month-over-month growth and a 3.5% year-over-year decline, signaling a cautious hiring environment. Job creation dropped 10% from January and 9.8% from February in 2024, reflecting a slowdown. Who says this isn't a feel-good podcast? Chad, what are your takes on all these numbers?
I'm going positive because if I don't, I wouldn't be Euro Chad. I'm almost out of here. Okay, so take a look.
That's not fair. That's cheating.
The link ups this week in jobs data update says daily active job descriptions featuring the term agentic have spiked from virtually 0 to 2,000 plus in just over 2 years. And then Aspen Tech Labs, yep, those kids again. Aspen Tech Labs shows that in Q1, AI-related job positions increased 25.2% compared to Q1 of 2024. So AI roles are increasingly strategic and command high compensation. Hear that? That's more money, kids. With median annual salaries reaching about $155,000, $156,000. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So good on growth, good on evolution. Now we have to do is get trained up for it.
So
60% of the time it works every time.
Another good one. Okay, maybe that one's my favorite. But the AI related roles that you mentioned that are getting upticked right there, does that mean like they're actually functionally working on AI solutions there, or they just are using AI at the company? Do you know? Is there data on that?
AI solutions. They're AI related roles. So they're not, they're not just using. Yeah.
Average person just using all right. Yeah.
Now
everybody has to do that at their jobs.
Link ups. Theirs was actually focused on the term in the job description being agentic. So that was more, kind of like parallel, where Aspen Tech Labs was focused on specifically AI related jobs. Good question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the fact that we all are being told we have to use AI at our corporate jobs now, and that we have to prove that we don't need to hire anybody else. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that, but quiet part out loud is happening more and more. But yeah, it still strikes me as crazy that there doesn't seem to be any sort of skills-based training on this. They're just like letting people fly with what I would imagine is pretty sensitive data internally at their companies on these platforms. And they're just like, hey, use it and let us know what happens. Like genie's out of the bottle, I guess. I don't know. It's like, it's kind of a wild ride. And I wonder where we're going to land. But I mean, I guess it's good that more high paying jobs are coming. I also hope that people who are over 50 can like access them, since there's a crazy bias that was released in a recent report by Generation and done with google.org about how anything that touches AI at all as a role, you're like 60% less likely to consider someone over 60 for that job. So
it sounds like we're
sucks.
screwed on the bottom with Gen Z, and we're screwed at the top.
Exactly.
I mean, you better be in the middle.
You better be in the middle, and you better somehow stay there. Yeah, it's a wild time.
You better start a podcast or some
shit.
You better just become an influencer, start a podcast, something. That's where the world is going. Who's the CEO that was like, if you want me to hire, you have to prove that we can't AI.
That was Shopify. That was Shopify.
Okay.
I'm sure, and others that just haven't leaked, right?
Oh, for sure.
Or people who like say the quiet part out loud are just, I'm surprised that people are just out there saying it, but I'm sure it's happening behind the scenes in cloaked language all the time.
My fear is that we haven't even begun the job loss, the inflation, the empty shelves. Like we haven't. When there's run on toilet paper, like Katie bar the door, shit's going to hit the fan. And
no pun intended.
It's pretty, Canada sort of set the stage of if you can stand up to America, like our little 40 million, person country can stand up and vote accordingly. And fight this guy. And I feel like a lot of other countries will be empowered to say, like, not necessarily the emperor has no clothes, but maybe, it's a red tie and a really ugly blue suit instead of a emperor's gown.
I love it.
But
the fashion critique. Yeah.
So I question, so I don't think China is backing down. I think this is really focused on China. I don't think they're going to back down. I think this is almost a war of wills. And I question whether America can suck it up and deal with it, because this is not
handle pain.
This is not the generation of our grandparents and great grandparents, depending on their age. Look, in a year and whatever change, there's going to be another election. And if shit is bad, the Dems will take the House, and then we'll be in court again and impeachment, and shit'll be sucky. China doesn't have that problem. Like there is no re-election. There is no like cycle that they can shit. So I question America's ability to stick this out. And whereas a company like Apple can say, okay, we're going to pivot extreme to India, companies like small businesses that we focused on, like, don't have that luxury. So the stress on our system is going to be immense. And I question whether or not we can play the long game. Unlike dad jokes, which I can play the long game all day, baby. I can go all day.
Oh, we know.
Bring us home, baby.
If a man and a woman need a marriage license to get married, what do two lesbians need? If a man and a woman need a marriage license to get married, what do two lesbians need?
Did you buy a lesbian joke book? Because it seems to be like scaling that way for some reason. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A liquor license.
Oh boy.
We out.
Oh my God. Bye.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad, the Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar, blue, nacho, pepper jack, Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.Chad&Cheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!